Hey guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering all of your questions about pregnancy. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. I have my lemon lime seltzer water, which is not nearly as exciting as I wish whatever I was drinking would be. I have been wanting a glass of wine so badly. So I hope that maybe one of you are drinking a glass of wine for me right now. I do just want to start out by saying thank you so much for all of the kind words on my pregnancy announcement video. I was just completely overwhelmed and blown away by your reaction to it. It was just insane. I've had conversations with a lot of you guys just in my DMs, in the comments, everywhere, and it seems like a lot of you were feeling the exact same way that I felt. If you haven't seen my pregnancy announcement video, I will link it up in the cards for you. Yeah, you can start there, and then I also will link my telling our friends and family video up here as well because the reactions are just so good. I just pulled up your questions on Instagram, so I'm going to run through and just start answering them. I have read some of them. I haven't read all of them. I'm sure there's a ton of repeat questions, but let's just get into them. The first question is, has your fear lessened any now that you've had time for it to soak in more? Which, if you haven't watched my first video, definitely go back and watch it. I share my real-time reaction to finding out. I also talk a lot about my feelings about pregnancy and all of that. So what I will say is it definitely took a few weeks to kind of let the news soak in. I don't even know if it fully has yet, honestly. Sometimes I feel like this is all fake, and then I don't know. I just feel like my brain has not caught up yet. So part of me, I think after a couple of weeks, the fear somewhat lessened. And then I realized that I ended my first trimester and I started getting really panicky again because it felt like it went by so quickly. And if the next two go by that quickly, that means that I'm going to have to get this baby out like soon. So I'm feeling a little panicky again. I don't know. I'm not sleeping through the night at all because I start having a lot of anxiety in the middle of the night. I'll wake up, go to the bathroom around like 4 o'clock, and I usually won't go back to sleep until around like 7. So I'll be up for hours in the middle of the night, just kind of freaking out, which is not fun. Okay, lots of questions just about getting pregnant in general. There's, were you on birth control previously to trying? Were you tracking anything when you started trying? What was your trying to conceive journey like? We're starting out our first month and I'm really nervous. And then lots of, was it planned or was it a surprise? So it was planned. Basically, I had been on birth control since I was 18, which I'm going to be 34, gosh, next week. And I had been on it to regulate my headaches. I'm sure most of you guys know that I get insane migraines. And so I went on it to regulate my hormones and my acne and my headaches back a million years ago. And I had been on it since then. So over the summer when we were planning our wedding, I talked to my doctor about it, told her that we wanted to get pregnant right away as quickly as we could, and we actually postponed. If you don't know, we got engaged in February and then we got married in September, but our big wedding got postponed, obviously because of everything going on in the world, and so our big celebration is not until 2022. We originally pushed it back to next year and then decided we would try and have a baby in between, and that just was not enough time. And so we pushed it back to summer of 2022 in hopes that we would be able to have a baby in between our official wedding and our big celebration. So the plan was to get pregnant as soon as we could. So I did talk to my doctor about our plans, and she told me to go off of birth control right away and get on a prenatal. So that's exactly what I did. I think that was around June that I went off of birth control. And she said it will just kind of help your hormones level back out since I hadn't been off of it in such a long time. And then I did start a prenatal so that I would start having those extra vitamins. I'm not a doctor. I don't know a lot about it. I trust my doctor. I've been going to her since I was 18, and that's what she told me to do, so that is what I did. I am definitely a planner, and so I was thinking that I would track everything. I actually started my period the day after our wedding, and so I was like, okay, that's a new cycle. And I tried tracking things. I was actually really bad at it, and when I thought that I was ovulating, I didn't ovulate. Like, the whole thing was just messed up, so I thought there was no chance that we would get pregnant, but first try and we did. So I have no idea how that happened. I am chalking it up to just being really, really lucky. And I think, I don't know, somewhere my body knew that I was so terrified to go through this that it was like, let's just get pregnant right away so then you can deal with it after the fact. I don't have any advice there. I would definitely say talk to your doctor as soon as you are thinking you want to, especially if you've been on birth control for a long time. I've heard a lot of varying things. Some people say that it takes like 6 months for your body to regulate. My doctor told me that that's not the case, but your doctor might tell you something else. And actually, my doctor had told me that because your hormones are kind of surging, sometimes you'll get pregnant right away after you get off of birth control. So I think it's just different for everyone. So my advice would be to talk to your doctor, but it was something that was planned. I did not expect it to happen right away, but here we are. Oh, and then I have one that's anything you did to help prep in advance of getting pregnant, like food-wise, vitamins, etc. So again, I was just on a prenatal. I didn't change my diet at all. I know a lot of women stopped drinking. I actually think that we may have gotten pregnant on our honeymoon, which we were drinking more than we normally would. So I didn't stop drinking. I didn't stop anything really. Lots of questions on how many weeks I am. So right now I'm 13 weeks and some change. And I think I get so confused because I have a couple of apps and some say that when you're 12 weeks, that's the end of your first trimester, but then some of them say at the end of your 13th week, that's the end of your first trimester. And I know pregnancy is 40 weeks, so it would make sense if it was like 13 and a half weeks or 13 weeks in a couple of days, because then that would all add up to being 40 weeks. I don't really know, but I want to say that I'm 13 and a half weeks right now. Someone asked what Adam and I are both excited for the most, and I actually ran downstairs because there were 2 questions that were asked of Adam, so I went and got his verbal answers because he's in the basement working. For excitement, he said just to have a little one running around and being able to watch them grow up, and I definitely am so excited to be able to see this little human that is made from me and Adam. Like, I just think that's the coolest thing. It'll be so interesting to see what they're like, what their personality traits are. I can't even imagine what they'll be like. Like, are they going to be super stubborn, or I don't know. Adam's really tall and Adam was like a 10.5 pound baby. Am I gonna end up having a 10.5 pound baby? I have no idea. I don't know if that's even something that kind of translates to, you know, genetically. Like, is that something that's in my future? Because he was, I don't know. So it'll just be fun to see kind of what this little human ends up like. Will you be having a baby shower? Not sure due to what's going on. I don't know. We didn't have a wedding shower. It's crazy because we haven't even seen the majority of our friends since we got engaged, because we got engaged in February and then obviously everything got shut down in March. So we haven't seen a lot of our friends since we got engaged. We got engaged, married, and pregnant since we've even seen the majority of our friends. So it's actually pretty sad. We haven't been able to celebrate all of these big life events with them. So I don't know if we'll be able to have a baby shower. I'm kind of assuming we won't, just because I don't think that things are going to be back to normal by the time a baby shower would happen. So I guess we will see. A couple of my friends are like dead set on having one because I obviously didn't get to have a bridal shower or a bachelorette party or my normal wedding or anything like that. And so now it's like another life event that I am not having those things. And so I'm wondering if maybe like in May or something it will be warm enough outside to do like an outdoor one. we'll see. Will you find out the gender of the baby beforehand or have it be a surprise? We already know what the gender is, so definitely found out beforehand. I actually did the NIPT test, which is the blood test you can do at 10 weeks, and then we found out last week, and so it takes about 2 weeks to get the results, or at least it did in my case. And yeah, we already know what the gender is. I'm way too much of a planner to not be able to plan and design the nursery and buy clothes and all of that stuff. Like I need to know. Have you picked out potential baby names yet? When we first got pregnant, we had a list of both genders, of just a list of random names. We don't agree on a lot of names, so it's been pretty difficult. Now that we know the gender, we've been talking a little more seriously about it. We're not going to share the name until the baby is here, just because we don't need the internet's opinions of our baby name, and we're actually not even sharing our names or like even potential names with our family or anything until we make a decision, just because we don't want to be influenced one way or the other. But we both have some favorites. We're test driving a name right now for a couple of days just to see how it feels. We don't have like a middle name for it yet, but we'll see. This person said, I have really come to love your mom. I would love to see her reaction too. Definitely check out the reaction video if you haven't seen it yet. Her reaction is priceless, and I am so happy that I have it on camera because I have watched it probably 100 times. This person asked if I chose to change my last name, and if not, what last name will the baby have? And I have not changed my last name yet. I need to do that. I'm going to change it legally. I will not change it for my businesses, just because all of my different businesses are registered as me. Like, I'm not going to change my channel name or my Instagram name or anything like that. I just feel like that would be so confusing. So everything online and for my businesses will stay Sarah Brithinee, and then I will legally change my last name, so all three of us will have the same last name. Will you be moving into a bigger house? We're definitely not moving before the baby is here. We have a guest room, which the guest room will just turn into the nursery. I'm not that worried about it. Our house isn't huge by any sense of the imagination, but we never have guests. I mean, especially this year, but even in general, because we live close to our family, we only have guests maybe like once or twice a year at the most. And so since that room's not really getting used anyway, we'll just turn that one into the nursery. That's just what makes most sense. And I do want to move. I've had the itch to move for a while now, but we have this whole plan of what we're doing and like what we want to do, and those things have just not fallen into place yet. And so we're kind of waiting to see if those things fall into place, and if they do, then we will likely move in the not too distant future, but definitely not before the baby comes. Like, that just seems like way too much. Will you be documenting your pregnancy on YouTube? Yes, I will be documenting. I actually filmed quite a few clips over the first trimester, which I will upload that video in a couple of days. I just want to film. I've taken some notes, and I'm just going to sit down and film kind of like the full first trimester update, and then I'll include the vlog clips in that video as well. Oh, the other question for Adam was, what does he think about me documenting our life on the internet? And I had gone downstairs to ask him the other question, and he said that he doesn't care for the most part, and that he would have an issue with it if I was sharing things like family issues or, you know, something that was really personal, which I do share personal things. If you watch that pregnancy announcement, you saw it was a very raw and vulnerable video, but it's still edited. I'm not live. I consciously thought about what I was putting out there before I put it out there, and I would never share something that was personal to our families or personal to someone besides me. So if Adam was having those reactions, I wouldn't just post that online without his permission. And I would never post anything about our family or anything without their permission. So yeah, I share a lot, but I'm very particular about what I share. He doesn't have an issue with it. I've been doing this since before I met him, so I think he's used to it. Are you worried about balancing work and mom life? More than you could ever imagine. I have no idea what I'm gonna do yet. I have thought a lot about what our childcare situation will be. I obviously don't get a maternity leave because I work for myself, so I can't just disappear. I mean, I could take time off here and, you know, pre-film videos and whatnot, but I can't just not ship out orders for 6 weeks or, you know, shut the SB website down, which if you are new here, SB is my jewelry website, which actually this necklace is from there. But I can't just shut down my website and just not ship orders for, you know, 3 months or however long. That's not an option. So I am planning on hopefully figuring out how to delegate way more than I'm currently delegating and be able to continue putting content out there. I don't know what we'll do yet though. And as far as childcare goes, we will have some sort of childcare. I don't know what that looks like either. I'm lucky in the fact that I work for myself and I work from home. So I have the option to not put my kid in daycare until everything in the world is more back to normal and I'm more comfortable with it. So I'm definitely not, that's not really on the table at the moment until further notice, until the world is back. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do yet. I've got some time to figure it out, but at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna be trying to figure out what that looks like. I work probably like 60-ish hours a week, and so it's not gonna cut it for me to work that much and then go down to working during nap time. Like it's not gonna be a thing. I do need to continue running my businesses, so I will have childcare of some sort. I just have no clue what that looks like yet. What was your first appointment like? Are you experiencing any symptoms? I will share more about the first appointment later on in the first trimester vlog because I did film clips from it. It was terrible, and I will share the whole story in that video, which will be out soon. What is a bummer is that Adam can no longer come into my appointments with me. So at first he was able to come into the first 2 appointments, but then we did the early blood work and then the 12-week appointment, and he was not allowed to come in for those. So it's just such a bummer because I can't even FaceTime him or video inside of the ultrasound room, so he wasn't able to see the baby, and I could see the baby kicking its legs and rolling over and whatnot. And so that is just such a bummer that he's missing out on that, and there's just nothing we can do about it. I would feel so much better if this was not our first time doing this because I don't know what to expect, and sometimes I'm worried that I'll go in there and I'll get bad news and then he won't be with me to deal with it. So yeah, it's kind of been a lot dealing with going through this for the first time and then him not being able to be around for it. So it's just, it is what it is right now, and hopefully things will change. As of now, he would be able to be in the hospital with me, but no one else would be able to be there. We'll see what it's like next summer. Alrighty guys, those are all of the questions that I'm gonna answer today. Leave below if you have other questions or you have topics that you want me to do videos on. I'm definitely not gonna turn into like a full pregnancy baby channel by any sense. I'm definitely gonna still do my fashion and beauty and regular lifestyle stuff, and then also have baby stuff sprinkled in, obviously, because this is a huge thing that's happening in my life, so I will obviously be sharing it. But if you have any video topics that you want me to cover, leave them down below in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.